Hey everyone, Grouchy Lenny here. The other day I did a review on a couple of $10 starter sets for Locksport, and C-Studio brought it to my attention that Southern Specialties also has a $10 Locksport set, which I was not aware of. So I immediately ordered that. It arrived yesterday. I've played around with it a little bit this morning, and I thought I would give you a review with my thoughts on it so far. It comes with 4 picking tools and 1 turning tool. You get a short hook, you get a snake rake, you get a ball pick, and you get a diamond or half diamond, depending on who's looking at it. Some people prefer to call it a diamond, some people prefer to call it a half diamond. And you get a booklet with the basics of how to rake a lock, and I look at some different types of locks. This is their logo sticker here. But let's take a look at these. One thing I noticed on these are from single sheet steel. They don't have laminated handles or plastic handles or anything like that. Some people prefer handles, some people don't. That's a personal preference thing. I do prefer handles, but I have some picks that do not have handles that I also like. So I did not have any problem using these. They feel comfortable. They have a bit of flex to them. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, they work. I've sat down, I played around with them, popped a couple locks. They work. They feel good quality. They have decent finish. For $10, I mean, I think it's a good deal. One other thing that people look at these $30 lockpick sets out of China on Amazon, and they see there's 13 or 15 or 19 different picks to choose from, and they kind of get wowed by that. They get that FOMO, fear of missing out, if I just get a little set, then I won't get all these different profiles. To be honest, as a beginner, you're not going to use the vast majority of those profiles. As a beginner, you're going to want to have a good hook, and you're going to have a good rake. The additional profiles are icing on the cake, and I think this is a nice compromise, because for $10 you get the essentials, just like the other kits have, but you get a couple of different, and these are very different. You get a ball pick and a diamond or half diamond, depending on who's calling it. So you get some variety, and you're not really going to need more advanced picks until you get up to more intermediate difficulty locks. But it's nice to have. It's a nice compromise, because then you don't feel like you're missing out on the variety that you might get in some of those bigger, cheaper sets. I don't know that those bigger, cheaper sets will all have the nice finish that these do. You get a turning tool here, and it's a single-ended. It does have a twist in it, so you get a little more flex. Some people prefer that, some people do not. Again, a lot of this is personal preference. You start talking to Locksporters, you're going to find people who have the same tools you do, but they prefer different ones. And a lot of it comes down to personal preference. The important thing is to get good quality tools, in my opinion. You get good quality tools and try them out. And these $10 sets I'm covering, they're $10. So get one, try it if you like it. Get one of the other $10 sets that's different. Get one with handles. If you get this one first, great. Play around with it. If you like Locksport, try one of those other sets. Try their $10 set, because their $10 sets are going to be indicative of a lot of their other sets. They're more advanced tools. The only downside to this turning tool is it's a single-ended, so you're not going to learn top of the keyway. Now that's not a big deal, because honestly, most starting Locksporters don't use top of the keyway tension. It takes a little learning. It's generally a little more difficult to do at first. So a lot of people don't even bother with top of keyway tension until they get to their green belt locks and more high security locks, intermediate level. But if you do have access to a top of keyway tension tool, and you're a yellow belt or orange belt, do yourself a favor, go ahead and start learning it now. That's just a personal tip. It has nothing to do with this review, so let me get back to this. Um, you do have the essentials. You have a hook and a rake. You have a couple of extra profiles to play around with and get familiar with. I haven't used the ball hook much. I need to start playing around with that. I also understand it's really good for handcuff escape. So if you're getting into like handcuff escape, that's a profile that a lot of those guys like to use, either the ball or the half ball. The booklet is nice. It covers the first half covers raking. The last few pages cover a couple of different types of locks, most of which you can't really pick with these tools. It's nice to know about those other types of locks. Personal preference, my little nitpick, and this is a very small nitpick, because you get all of this for $10, so you're not out any money. But I would have kind of liked to see those last few pages focus on single pin picking, rather than types of locks that you're really not going to attack with these tools. Otherwise, it's a really good book, and I do want to say they refer to this as a torsion tool, and you'll look at most of the documentation out there. You talk to Locksporters, and they all call it a tension tool, but scientifically speaking, it is torsion you're applying, not tension. So, points for that. You'll see this as Hard Case Survival. Hard Case Survival, Southern Specialties are the same company, just DBA, different names. So hardcasesurvival.com, southernspecialties.com will take you to the same website, and you can order, or it might be a slightly different website, but it's the same company. You can order the same products. So just in case you're wondering why it's Hard Case Survival and we're talking Southern Specialties. The tools themselves, really nice finish. Very smooth, polished. For a $10 set, I think the production quality is great. One thing I will say about these, and this is a pro and a con, is these are thinner than the other two sets that I looked at. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't measure it with a micrometer, but just comparing it to other picks I have, these are 20 thousandths of an inch thick. You'll find most of those other starter ones, the Jimmy Longs and the Covert Instruments, are 25 thousandths of an inch thick. So what's the pro and con to that? Well, beginners usually tend to apply way more force both to the turning tool and to the picks than they really need to. And they end up bending their picks because you're muscling and you're applying way too much force. So in a way, that's a con. If you get this set, you're going to need to learn to use light to moderate tension and light to moderate force in picking. Don't use more than you need to. That's good advice anyway, because when you get to higher level locks, there's a lot of tricky intermediate level locks and higher level locks where you need to apply feather light tension in some cases, or very light tension. So just beware. If you get these, you're going to have to learn early on not to muscle down. Don't, you're not trying to, break open a boulder here. You're trying to push little metal pins up through an opening. You don't need to really grip down and white knuckle it. The reason why a thinner pick is good, why this is a pro, is you're going to find when you start getting up to intermediate level locks, they have more challenging keyways. The keyway is the entry that the key goes into a lock on. And one of the security methods they do is, if you look at keyways, most of them are not straight up and down, they're kind of jagged and stuff like that. They start getting more jagged at higher belt difficulty or higher security locks. That's called paracentric keyways. That makes it harder to get a pick in and have space to work. And thinner picks will sometimes let you work those keyways easier than a thicker pick, which will get caught up on the warding and mess with your ability to smoothly move up and down or back and forth in the lock, and it'll mess with the feedback you're getting because the keyway is dampening the feedback, the vibrations that are coming through as you're picking. So that's a pro and a con. I was kind of surprised once you get up to green belt, blue belt. A lot of people don't even mess with 25,000s tools anymore, unless they're working on lower security lock or unless they're working on kind of special cases. A lot of people tend to prefer to use 20,000s and in some cases even 15, 16,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's kind of nice that these tools can work for you even up on intermediate level locks, where the Jimmy Longs are 23,000s and the covert instruments are 25,000s. You might find that you don't use those as often once you start getting into intermediate level locks, and these you'll be able to use a little longer. So there's that. Anyway, I like this set. It's nice. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more playing around with it, playing around with that ball pit profile. Yeah, I can recommend this. For $10, I think it's a great deal. It is a veteran-owned company, veteran-owned and operated, and they have a good reputation among the Locksporting community. A lot of Locksporters really just love dealing with them. They even name the individuals who they've dealt with there and talk about what a great experience they've had with them. So that's always a plus. You feel good when you're dealing with a company. And again, I could say the same thing about Jimmy Longs. I've had really good dealings with Jimmy and other companies. I don't like to recommend companies that I don't care for. And everything I've heard about Southern Specialties so far, positive, and everything I've seen, I like so far. I've got some more of their products coming, and I will be talking more about those when I receive them and get a chance to play around with them. I just wanted to do a quick review of the starter set because I felt bad that I was not aware they had one and that I'd omitted it from my initial review. So anyway, I hope you find this helpful. Definitely check them out. Check their products out. I know they've been a big supporter of Made Locksports, which is an organization that's helping to get veterans into Locksport for therapeutic purposes and the supported community and things like that. So check them out. Thanks for tuning in, watching, and I hope this is helpful. I hope it helps get people into Locksport. You all have a good day. Keep on picking and grinning. Bye.